Good morning, everyone. We are doing another walk. And yesterday we mentioned 10th Avenue. So here we are. We will be walking 10th Avenue. We just got off of 86th Street. Probably going to jump onto the other side because it's sunlit. We're going to be going all the way down to 38th Street. So another good distance of walking. It's around 9:30 in the morning. So another morning walk. Yesterday and today's weather are pretty much the same. It's around low 40s right now. Not as much wind as yesterday, though. As a matter of fact, I don't even think there's any wind today. So it's much nicer. So right now we are in the Dyker Heights section. Eventually we will be in the Borough Park section. A lot of the nice houses here in Dyker Heights on 10th Avenue. Now this neighborhood in about a month from now, will be lit up with Christmas lights. This is a residential area, and eventually we'll be getting down into a very busy commercial type of area. I'll kind of explain the layout of 10th Avenue and why I never walked it for the channel. Got a leaf blower guy across the street. Take a look at some more of these nice little bungalow style homes. Nice evergreen pine type tree right here. We are now crossing 82nd Street. So anyway, 10th Avenue is kind of strange. So got some Halloween decorations up. So 10th Avenue is gonna just abruptly stop at some point on this walk. And we're then gonna have to take a detour onto Fort Hamilton Parkway. And then when we get onto Fort Hamilton Parkway, we'll have to walk down to about 52nd Street, and that's where we will reconnect with 10th Avenue. It's kind of strange. It's because of a couple of things. Well, first thing is the N line and the Brooklyn Queens Railroad run through on 62nd Street. Let me take a look at some of these houses here. And what that does is it cuts straight down. So in order to get to the other side, you got to get onto Fort Hamilton Parkway. Well, then Fort Hamilton Parkway is the other reason, right? So Fort Hamilton Parkway just cuts through a swath of Brooklyn on like a diagonal line. And what happens is 10th Avenue just disappears in that area. So we'll get to 62nd Street, we'll walk up to Fort Hamilton Parkway, and then for a while we're going to be, for about 8 blocks, well, maybe 10 blocks, we're going to be on Fort Hamilton Parkway until we get back on 10th Avenue, where 10th Avenue starts again. So it's definitely not a straight run kind of walk. But this is the one avenue that I didn't walk on in the last few months. Of all the avenues that we completed down in South Brooklyn, we didn't do this one. So this kind of closes it out, I guess. There's a big Halloween house coming up too, so we'll take a look at that. I know it's not Halloween anymore, but it's still, cool to look at. It's a big house that people come down and take a look at. So we'll take a look at that. Some more bungalow style houses. This is a very quiet neighborhood generally, but then once we get down to, once we get down to like 62nd Street, it's going to get a little bit more busy down there. It looks like the Halloween house is still going strong. They use a lot of inflatables. And this is on the corner of 77th Street and 10th Avenue. So for anybody that wants to come down, and I don't know how much longer this is going to last. It's now, I'm recording this, I believe, on November 3rd. So remember I had said in an earlier walk that people will tend to leave their decorations up for about a week or two. But here we go. Look at this house. So we'll kind of take a little tour around the house, but I gotta watch for these cars. So yeah, this is like a post Halloween walk video. Look at this. This is pretty cool. Look at that. There you go. We're walking in the sun. I don't like walking in the sun with the camera. That's poor photography practice. Anyway, here we go. Got a big ghost, big fat ghost. There you go. And if you're wondering, yes, you could bet that they decorate for Christmas. If they're decorating like that on Halloween, you can bet that they decorate their house probably very well on Christmas. So for next month, for the Christmas. As a matter of fact, that might be, it might be a house that starts early. There's a lot of houses down here that will have their lights up just before Thanksgiving in about 3 weeks. Wow, it's crazy I'm saying that, 3 weeks. That's how fast the year went by, right? Coming up on Bay Ridge Parkway, 75th Street. I'm gonna get the light, and there it is. You got a lot of electric bike people here. I got the camera on automatic exposure today because it's early. Unlike yesterday where the sun was on our back, we got the sun on my right side. So there may be times where I cross over and there's going to be a lot of dark shadow. So every time I walk by these homes, I'm like, man, these are some interesting looking architecture right here. But anyway, I decided to let the camera do exposure today because there's going to be a point where we walk underneath the hospital and it's going to get dark underneath there, and I just wanted to have the camera just be able to expose underneath there. So if you remember yesterday when we were walking, when we did 50th Street, as we crossed 10th Avenue, there was the hospital kind of hangs over 10th Avenue. Unlike yesterday, it's a little bit, warmer. You can feel the sun today as opposed to yesterday. For the whole walk, I was walking into a stiff breeze, and it never felt warm yesterday until the afternoon. It got up to like 50. But this nice cut stone wall. This house looks like a castle. Looks like the entrance to a castle. I'm gonna cross over here. It's going to be a little darker on the side because there's shade, but wanted to get both sides of the road. Got some bricks, the townhouse style. townhouse brick. (71st Street). This is a street we're going to do a walk on coming up eventually, so stay tuned for that. There's a lot of those brick style round townhouse type of homes, but there's also a lot of beautiful homes once you get up to over by Shore Road. You might notice the traffic is starting to pick up down here. We're gonna get into like a little bit of a commercial type of area. So we're also coming out of Dyker Heights. So I'm gonna take this because the light hasn't turned green yet. Excuse me. Whoa. I rarely cough on camera. Bay Ridge Avenue. Also known as 69th Street. Oh, we have our first Thanksgiving decorations, guys. We got a turkey. Here we go, our first look at the next holiday coming in. I was reading an article somewhere, I think it was, I can't remember where I read it. It was just yesterday. They were showing this beautiful inflation that we have. How a lot of the prices are dropping this year. Apparently this year, turkey is supposed to be cheaper than it was last year. But everything else is going to be more expensive, so it doesn't matter. So if you like turkey, unlike me, I'm not really a turkey fan. I mean, I'll eat it, but I'm not really crazy about it. We're going to cross back over to the sunlit side. Fort Hamilton Parkway is right there on the next block. It's starting to cut into us, so eventually we're going to be on there. We're going to be hitting this dead end here. I'm letting this guy go, so, or girl and guy. We got some more Halloween decorations. "65th Street, we are officially no longer in Dyker Heights." You see Fort Hamilton Parkway continues to get closer. So Fort Hamilton Parkway is like it's coming in diagonal towards us. And eventually what'll happen is it'll take over as the major road down here. Now, what neighborhood we're in right now, it's, you know, it's a toss-up, because we're really on the border of a couple of neighborhoods. You could say we're in Borough Park, or you could say we're in Sunset Park. You could even say we're in Bay Ridge if you walk up the block where we just passed 65th. If you were standing on that corner, you could say you're in Bay Ridge. Take your pick. All right, so here we are. We're coming up on 62nd Street, and this is where the break happens. And we won't be back on 10th Avenue for a little bit, so we're going to detour here and go up onto Fort Hamilton Parkway. Now this right here, this area right here, this what you're looking at, there's the Brooklyn Queens Railway down below and the N train. Last time we were down here was the flash flood storm. That was a really good walk. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Not the last flash flood. So there was two flash floods we had. The last one was the most recent. That was in my neighborhood. But then there was one maybe a week prior to that, which was pretty damn amazing, because the sunset, when we got to this area, the sun was setting as it was still pouring, and the sky just got all crazy pink and red. And We also did a walk on Fort Hamilton Parkway earlier in the year that's in there. So we've been on this location a couple of times. What we have to do now is we have to walk to around, I want to say like 52nd Street to get back on 10th. There is no 10th Avenue over here. So 10th Avenue does not exist. This area is heavily commercial. You know, a lot of commercial retail stores, markets. And apartment dwellings above the stores. So if you look at these buildings, you'll see people do live in these above. It is filthy down here. It's really sad that some of these store owners do not clean up in front of their places. Coming up on 58th Street. I feel like I'm the only one walking, except for that person in front of me. I'm the only one walking in this direction. Everyone's walking by me. I didn't measure how long this walk is, but we'll try to make it 3 miles. I'm thinking when we get down to 38th Street, we could continue walking down there for a couple of blocks just to see what's down there these days. I had a friend that lived on 38th Street when I was young, and I know that the hospital, my Maimonides Hospital, has their ambulance depot over there. Got all the older guys hanging out. Yeah, there's an ambulance depot down there. There's really nothing much down there, so we'll just to stretch the walk out a bit. And everybody's probably wondering, where does 10th Avenue start again? We got a few more blocks. When they built the grids down here, I can only imagine Fort Hamilton Parkway was here much longer than the other avenues. Fort Hamilton Parkway, Kings Highway, Flatbush Avenue, New Utrecht Avenue. Those are very old roads. Some of those roads were dirt roads before they were even asphalt. Gravesend is a great example. Gravesend, Brooklyn, pretty much retained its original grid. Anything that was a dirt road there is still a road. But in other areas, what happens is when they, developed the area and they created the grids, a lot of the major roadways stayed in place and now cut through the neighborhoods. Fort Hamilton Parkway being one of those roads, just cuts right through diagonally, just like New Utrecht Avenue does. The same way Flatbush Avenue cuts through. So I guess when they laid down 10th Avenue, they ran into a few problems. And this right here is Precious Blood. Precious Blood Monastery. Monastery of the Precious Blood. Excuse me. Got a drone up there. Somebody must be shooting a video. Can you see the drone? Looks like somebody might be doing a professional shot. I actually am so for those of you that might not know, some of you might have seen my videos, I am a commercially certified drone pilot. It's what they call a Part 107, and that is so I can do what that guy's doing and shoot commercial video with the drone. And that is that is an FAA certification, so you get like a little license card. It looks like a pilot's license. You got to take a test. We're about to jump back on 10th Avenue. (52nd Street). So we are finally going to make our way back onto 10th Avenue. Getting back to the drone thing, the reason why you have to, and this is kind of crazy, so you don't have to have an FAA certification to fly a drone. However, it has become increasingly harder to be what they call a recreational flyer. They even now require recreational flyers to go onto the FAA website and take a class and to get a certification. It's free. You could go. It's, they make you watch, some video modules for about an hour. They make you take a test. And then you have to print that card out when they give it to you and carry it on you. But the thing with a Part 107 is that any video that you make money from, even if you don't intend to make money with it, is considered a commercial drone video. And what that means is if I put a video on YouTube, even if I don't intend to make money off of it, it doesn't matter. YouTube makes money off of it. YouTube has advertising. They have ads that go onto your video. So that video is now commercial. What you'll see is a lot of people will get into these back and forths with the FAA. The FAA will say, hey, listen, you're not supposed to be putting drone videos up on YouTube unless you're commercially rated. It's kind of a silly thing, but it is. Those are the laws that they have in place. So I had to, you know, study the material for a few weeks and take the test, which the test is not easy. And it's, you know, it's not hard either, but it's not an easy test. For me, it wasn't so bad. I'm ex-military, so a lot of the stuff that was in the test, believe it or not, was stuff that I was familiar with, like air charts, terminology, weather, terminology of aircraft, you know, how to fly at night, you know, stuff like that. So this is stuff that I already knew, and it was more like a review for me. But for some other people, it's, you know, you hear a lot of people take that test the first time, they fail it. All right, I'm getting the intersection. All right, enough about drones. Who cares? We are on 50th Street, and we are about to go under the Maimonides Medical Center here on 49th Street. See the complex? It's also over here to my right. Big hospital complex, very well known. I was born here, probably along with a lot of you that may be living in Brooklyn that watch this right now. A lot of people in Brooklyn have this hospital on their birth certificate. I gotta figure out where I'm walking because everything is closed off over here. So. Gotta watch these cars. If you're gonna get hit by a car, it's the best place to get hit by a car. The hospital's right here. When we were kids, we used to ride our bikes around here. My mother was always worried that I was gonna get hit by a car in the street, and I said, don't worry, I'm gonna be by the hospital. They get by a car in a hospital, they'd come right outside and get me. Although that must be like a big misconception, right? So it's like living like on the block of like a police precinct, and you think your house will never get robbed, right? You live on like the same block as say like the 6-2 precinct in Bath Beach. Oh, I'll never get robbed. The police right down the block, and well, you'd be surprised. People have break-ins right down the block from the precinct. Yeah, this area is now nothing but apartment buildings on either side. 4 or 5 story type. Sunset Park is there, and we are in Borough Park. We're pretty much on the borderline of both those neighborhoods. We got 2 little cats. We'll see if they're friendly. I don't know if you can see them yet. They're not. They're running away from me. They saw me and now they're spooked. See them? Look at them. Psst, psst. Oh, they were going for the birds. I feel bad. I just made the birds fly away. I just scared away their lunch. "45th Street. When we were young in this area, this part of 10th Avenue was famously known as no man's land. And that is because back in the day, and there were people living down here, but there's really nothing down here. It's one of those avenues that, I don't know how to say it, it's a forgotten avenue. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but for us it was like everybody knew, stay off of 9th Avenue, stay off of 8th Avenue. I lived on 8th Avenue. I didn't have a choice as a kid. I was in a very bad, I was on 8th Avenue and 42nd Street. We're coming up on 43rd here on 10th. But nobody ever spoke about 10th Avenue. It was never, hey, 10th Avenue is a good neighborhood. 10th Avenue is a bad neighborhood. Hey, what's on 10th Avenue? There's nothing down there. So we used to call this no man's land. We'll do a quick walk through the park. This park has been around for a long time. And I think it's still called Brizzy Park. We'll see right now what the sign says. Brizzy or Britzy, whatever way you want to say it. Yep, it's still the same. This was not a nice park in the 80s to be in. It's much cleaner now, but there was always just a lot of drug activity here. Park cleans up a lot in the late, I would say early 90s, early to late 90s, started cleaning up down here. But this was a park you didn't come into. All right, we'll get back on 10th Avenue and end the walk. We're gonna get to 38th Street. We are underneath the elevated rails once again. New Utrecht Avenue. And this is where the rails go down into the ground. So you'll see that in a second when we get over there. Now this is actually funny over here. So you see the way that the curvature of the L, right? For many years, there's been people from out, like not in the neighborhood. They'll be on New Utrecht Avenue, right? And your normal like habit, your normal just the whole normalcy of riding underneath the L in the car on New Utrecht Avenue, for some people that don't live in the neighborhood will kind of get sidetracked, and when they get down to this area, they stay under the L, and then they realize they're not on Fort Hamilton, they're not on New Utrecht Avenue anymore, and they're kind of like turned around. They're like, whoa, where am I? And that's happened a lot. When I was doing the walk the last time, somebody had stopped me after I had done the walk, and they were like, where is New Utrecht Avenue? And I had to show them, and they were like, oh, because I thought, you know, we were driving, and then it just turned into 10th Avenue. This is where the rails go down into the 9th Avenue train station. This is where 10th Avenue ends on this side. Now 10th Avenue actually continues on the other side of the rail yard and the cemetery over in Windsor Terrace. But it only continues for like a few blocks and then it's done. But this is pretty much where it ends. You can see how low the train trestles are above us as they're coming down. And now we are about to hit 38th Street. There's a big hot spot for you. I remember when they built this. This hasn't even been up for 10 years. This is fairly new. Sounds like we got a train coming that's going to go down into the 9th Avenue station. So we'll just hold it here. Here it is. All right, so we are now on 38th Street, and yeah, so this is I just realized we have the sun in our eyes, so we'll probably just do one block down. But this is where the hospital ambulance depot is. Remember I said earlier that I had a friend that lived on 38th Street, and this is the home he lived in right here with the red awning. I'll try to get the sun out. The sun is really killing it. Many, many years ago. Oh, I'm gonna get forced. No, I think I got space to walk on the sidewalk here. This is the ambulance depot right here. I'll tell you, this block has changed a lot. I don't even recognize a lot of these buildings. Got a lot of lumber across the street. Guess we'll end the walk here. That's a lot of chairs. Have a seat, everyone. The other thing, it looked like it was set up for a church mass, but it's actually, they make chairs there, I guess. I don't know. All right, so this closes it out 55 minutes, so yeah, roughly 3 miles. We're ending it back on. We're back on Fort Hamilton Parkway. As you can see, Fort Hamilton Parkway doesn't get too far away from 10th Avenue down here. And we'll end the walk. So I want to thank everybody for coming along on another walk. We got the New York City Marathon coming up this weekend. So we will definitely be down here. Well, we'll be up in that direction, and we'll do that walk. So until next time, thanks for coming along the walk, and catch you on the next one.